How's it going, everybody? You know who it is. My name is Sunwoo, and usually I make beats, but not today. Today I came here to tell you about my newest acquisition, the Elektron Octatrack, and maybe a little bit how it compares to the OPZ, how it compares to other samplers, and why I bought it. So let's get right into it, and bang bang. Alright, first of all, this is not a scripted review. You are not gonna find any B-roll footage or any funny Super Street Fighter 2 analogies in this, so get over that. Let's have a real heart-to-heart chat, my friends. Alright, so here I got the little OPZ as a size comparison, and that's the Octatrack, which actually is not as big as I thought. I think the size is perfect. For those of you who don't know, the Octatrack is a sampler, but it also is kind of a mixer because it has 4 mono inputs or 2 stereo inputs, MIDI in, out, through, Q output, and all of that good stuff. But at its heart, it's a sampler. It has 8 audio tracks right here. You can access them with these buttons. These audio tracks can act in different ways. They can just basically pass the audio from one of the inputs through and put effects on it. They can chop up samples. They can resample each other. These are the 8 audio tracks. You also have 8 MIDI tracks available. If you press on this button, they can send MIDI out to different channels. And you also have 8 recording buffers on top of these. They can act separately to the sample playback machines, meaning you can sample into them and then one of the playback machines or multiple ones can draw from different recording buffers. Complicated stuff. Watch a few tutorials and you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's the gist of the Octatrack. I think it's an amazing device. And now to why I bought it. Well, first of all, I bought it because the build quality of this is horse shit, or horse shit, I don't know. But the build quality of this is not good. I already had a unit fail on me. First, I had the double trigger issue, encoders started popping out, and after some time, some of the buttons completely stopped working, and that within 2 years of having the device. Now I'm on my second. Yeah, the build quality of this is abysmal. Almost everybody encounters double triggers at some point and the popping out encoders. And my second unit so far is alright, apart from the popping out encoders, but I don't expect it to live any longer than 3 years, which is why I wanted a sampler that is more sturdy. And that, of course, led me to the Octatrack in the end, because it is in a super sturdy metal enclosure and I like the build quality of it. There are some grievances I have already, which is the screws here rusted on me after a week, but that's due to the super humid climate in which I live, which of course is a negative, but Elektron is gonna send me replacement screws. And another grievance that I have is the rubberized texture on these buttons. Because I live in a humid climate, I know it will break down in a few years and turn into gooey sludge. But at least Elektron offers replacement buttons, even if you're not in warranty anymore, and you can buy them off them. So I know I'm quite safe for the future. And that's it to the negatives. We started out with the negatives. That's because I am German and we just face them head on. Get over it. Let's remove some spit off the Octatrack as well. All right, now let's get into the positives. What do I like about this device? I like, for one, that it has proper sample slicing, meaning I can go into an audio editor, and then it will either automatically slice a sample into a certain number of slices, or I can do it by hand and add slices here and there, which is one feature that the Digitakt is lacking, and that's one of the main reasons why I sold the Digitakt, because making sample-based beats is just so much more convenient if you can slice your sample properly. And finding workarounds on the Digitakt was horrendous to me. I really didn't like it. And I don't know why people would prefer it over the way the Octatrack works, but I certainly prefer the Octatrack. Also, people talk about the Octatrack having bad sound quality. I don't think so. I really think it sounds very nice. Yeah, the effects are not your microcosm, reverb, delay, whatever pedal, of course, because they're a bit older, and they also don't cost you an extra 400 for each effect. And they also don't make music for you. If you want music made for you, buy MIDI chord packs online. No, seriously, don't buy MIDI chord packs online. Any beginners out there, please don't buy them. It's a complete rip-off. Just Google a scale and ask what chords are in A major, for example. And then you'll have your own self-made chord pack ready for you. Anyway, let's get back to this. So yeah, sample slicing is amazing. What else is amazing? I like the effects. They aren't crappy. Sound quality is okay. Effects are okay. Don't worry about it. Don't let people saying that the sound quality is bad and the effects are bad detract you from buying the Octatrack. Let the price detract you. Yeah, it's expensive, but I think it's worth it. What's the best about this device is the flexibility. So I can have just a simple kick drum right here. On the next track, I can have a sample chain similar to the OPZ, meaning many samples in one audio file, and have those chopped up to slices and use those. And on another track, you can have a through track where you listen to your external synthesizer that you got hooked up to it, that you are controlling via MIDI from one of the MIDI tracks. And then you can also, as opposed to the OPZ, where these tracks are very static, on the Octatrack, I could just copy a certain track and paste it somewhere else if I want to change the order of my tracks, or duplicate a track and then mess with it, which is something that's not possible on the OPZ. But in general, I do use it as a, let's say, expanded OPZ. So I have my kick drum here, snare drum here, hi-hat here, and then I add a few sample and instrument tracks on the other tracks. So the flexibility is a major plus for the Octatrack. Having 4 inputs is great. You can have input A and B be your stereo sampling input, and then maybe hook 2 synthesizers up to it in inputs C and D, or a guitar in one of the inputs, or a microphone if you want to record making funny noises or shaking a shaker or whatever. It's really nice, and the way you can mangle up your own samples is super flexible as well. You can chop them up, you can reverse them, you can pitch them down, pitch them up, resample them with effects on top, and then put more effects on top, and it never ends. So that's the very nice things about the Octatrack. There are a million more, but I won't tell them to you. You got to experience it for yourself. Now, about the learning curve. Many people say, well, the Octatrack is so difficult to learn, and I sold it a bajillion times and then bought it back half a bajillion times. I don't know how that works, but that seems to be the case for many people. I know I'm not going to sell this one here because it's too difficult to learn, because I just spent a week or two watching non-stop tutorials by people like the lovely Cuckoo, or the Messy Desk, or EasyBot, or what's that guy called? Max Marco, who are people that talk about the Elektron Octatrack and do so very well, and they explain it all to you very nicely. And if you have watched 2 weeks of Octatrack tutorials and you get your Octatrack, and most of all, you already have sampler experience, you will get to grips with this thing. At least I did, and I'm stupid as well, so I don't know if you are. I just assumed it. I'm sorry. Yeah, so you can do it. The Octatrack is not too difficult if you have sampler experience. Would I recommend this to a sampling beginner? Hell no, way too difficult for that. Get yourself a PO33 or a OPZ or something easier than this. But for people who have gone through a million samplers like I did, I don't know if I just counted them up, but I'm gonna do it. Akai X7000 keyboard sampler, MPC 2000 XL, 2500, 1500, Akai S20, S3000 XL or something like that. Zoom Sampletrak, Pocket Operator, OPZ, and the Digitakt, of course. So yes, I had many samplers. If you know samplers and you want the ultimate, get the Octatrack. If you are a beginner, don't get the Octatrack. That's my easy summary for buying the Octatrack. Now, again, back to the Digitakt versus Octatrack topic. So, I think the Digitakt serves a purpose, but for me it's not the right device, because I think the Digitakt is best when used as just a drum sampler, although there are great people out there doing a lot more with it. But to me, the less flexible sampling interface just makes it better for one-shot samples, as opposed to loops and slices and such things than the Octatrack. So the Digitakt is, as it says on the package, a drum sampler. It actually says digital drum machine, but it's a drum sampler. Yes, you can create synthesizers with it. Yes, you can do this and that, but everything needs a workaround, and that just is litigious to me. I don't want to work like that. I finally wanted a device that does what I wanted to do, and that's exactly what this device is. So that's my quick versus Digitakt. Now versus OPZ. Versus OPZ, well, build quality, of course. Flexibility, of course. MIDI in and out. Yes, this thing has MIDI in and out via USB and via the shitty module, which pops out all the time. Another big build quality minus there. Also, the OPZ doesn't have a direct audio input, only a mic in and a USB audio in. That's a big negative. And yeah. Yes. So what else can I say? Yeah, sequencer-wise, I think the Octatrack and OPZ do have quite a lot of similarities. You've got your retrigger options, you have your probability options, you have many things. You've got, of course, your parameter locks, which is an Elektron staple. So every parameter that you see on here basically can be locked into the sequencer. And of course, you also got the fader, which can switch between different parameter values. I haven't used it much yet, but it's gonna be cool once I use it. But for now, I'm dealing with the normal stuff, and yeah, I've got enough on my hands with that. Yeah, and also same thing, you can have different pattern length per track. You can have an overall pattern length that defines the other patterns. Basically, the other patterns reset once the master pattern has finished one whole run through, and lots of sequencing options. You can also have all the tracks play freely, which the OPZ doesn't have as an option, so I can just start track number 1 and then later start track number 2, and they don't run exactly in parallel but slightly shifted from each other if you want to. And there are a lot of fancy options on this device, and it's a lot more open-ended than the OPZ or the Digitakt or many other samplers, which is something I like, as I am at a point where, yeah, I don't want to compromise anymore in life, man. I don't want to compromise. So I just want to make music and see, oh, maybe I could do this. And then actually the device does allow me to do that without having to break a leg or an arm. And yeah, I like. Octatrack, I like. You get 2 thumbs up and 2 pointers as well, or index or whatever you call these. It's a great device. I love it. Hopefully I'll say that in a year as well. Okay, so who is the Octatrack for? I would say the Octatrack is for people who want more out of their sampler than just having static samples that you play back and that's it. It can be a great device for people who have instruments that they can play. They can either hook up directly to one of the inputs or mic them up and then record them through one of the inputs and loop those recordings, overdub them, slice them up, put effects on them and resample them if they like to do so. Oh, have I said before you can resample on the Octatrack? Something you can't do on the OPZ, by the way, which is a major downfall. Yeah, people who know they want to do more with their samples. That's who it's for. You've got a sampler, it does what you need it to do, then stick with that. You have a sampler, but you want to try out more things, you want to be flexible, get the Octatrack. You just want a drum sampler, get the Digitakt. You want nothing, don't buy anything. Don't let me tell you to buy this. Yeah, overall, I am super happy. You are gonna see videos on the Octatrack in future, beat making videos. Of course, I'm not gonna give you any super tutorials yet because I still have to learn as well, and I'm not gonna give you any half-assed stuff here, hopefully. And yeah, more Octatrack videos in future. I hope to see you for them. And don't worry, I'm gonna make videos with this inferior build device as well. Just kidding. It's still a great device. Of course, the price is very different, so this is never gonna be as sturdily built as this one. But for the price, I still think this is a great device, especially the portability enables you to make music anywhere. So don't go out selling your OPZ to fund an Octatrack yet. I'm gonna keep this, make music with it as well. But when I sit down at the big boy table, I'm gonna make music on the Octatrack and see if I can come up with different stuff. And yes, that's it. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed me rambling on a little bit. Yeah, sorry for the missing Street Fighter references. I hope you still enjoyed it. I hope to see you next time. Check out the links in the description. Leave me a comment. Check the like button. Click on the frickin' bell. Blah, 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 blah. See you next time. Thank you very much. Peace. Sorry, I forgot. I also wanted to show you a little beat that I made with it, just so we have some music in this video as well. Alright, enjoy. yeah, that's all. Simple beat. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time for a proper beat making video.